CRM and constant contact integration, demonstration version 2.0. And our presenter for today, we have Jake Budekoffer.
They've been getting a lot of award-winning accolades recently, a lot of good articles written about sugar, and we are thrilled to be partnered with them, and we're looking forward to a great future being partnered with sugar. A little bit about Constant Contact. They specialize in email marketing, event marketing, social media marketing, and online survey tools. They were founded in 1995 and have about 500,000 plus customers worldwide. As more and more companies tend to use email marketing and marketing automation, Constant Contact continues to grow. We'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about our company, Fav Business Systems Group, and what we do here. We have about 25 years of consulting and customizing experience. We are a Sage partner as well as an authorized Sugar partner. We've developed about 5 integrations with Sugar, a couple more actually, ranging from our new integration with Intact, which is an accounting software, to Mass 90 accounting software, to this Constant Contact, and we also have an authorized.net. And here are just the key features of the integration. There are some new features on this version, a couple of them being we added the actual click-through link to the actual lead and campaign view. Before it would just show that they actually clicked on something. This one you actually get to see the link in the campaign or lead, which I will show you. We made a Constant Contact import because we were dealing with a lot of people who have been using Constant Contact a lot longer than they were using Sugar. So we created this import that would allow them to import all their contacts very easily instead of exporting to a CSV file and importing into Sugar. We created this tool which allows them to import their contacts or leads into Sugar. And we're currently working on a feature where we'll be able to assign them to a lead source with the import, so you can kind of be able to track exactly what leads are coming from Constant Contact. You can do all the basic stuff. You can add people to lists within Sugar. You can view all your campaign results. You can create reports based on the campaign results. And so basically all you have to do in Constant Contact is create the emails. This is the screen that pops up after the initial install of the integration, which basically you just put in your Constant Contact login and you put in the key that we give you. There are a couple manual processes that you have to do initially to get the integration configured properly. You actually have to click on the Download Campaigns button, as if you ran a campaign, earlier in the day and you didn't want to wait until the end of the day to see the results. So you would just click on the Download Campaign button, and that would pull over all the campaigns information of what you'd sent out that day, as well as all the previous campaigns. It's set on the scheduler to run once a day. If you want to change that, you can, to run it as often as possible. I'll show you briefly how to do that. The sync lists here, so there's 2 things that you actually have to do in Constant Contact. You have to actually create the emails in Constant Contact. And we did it that way because they have a bunch of nice HTML templates, and that's what they do. So we made it so that you actually create the emails in Constant Contact because they have a bunch of nice templates. And then the only other thing you have to do is you actually have to create the list titles inside of Constant Contact and then sync those over to Sugar. And that's how Sugar knows that this is a Constant Contact list. So I'm going to go ahead and create a list really quick and send that over to Sugar just to show you how easy that is to do. So you just go ahead and create new, that. So now we have 5 lists here. I'll click on Sync Lists. This process sends all the list titles from Constant Contact over to Sugar. So if we refresh this, the 5th list will now show up. And there it is. There's the marketing list. So now if you wanted to add people to lists, you simply just click on the marketing list, and then you can select from contacts, you can select from leads, and you can also select from reports, which I know is very important to a lot of companies because they create reports, bi-monthly or maybe every week, and they need to be able to constantly be updating, certain contacts and leads from those reports and add them to the list. The other thing we added, which I talked about briefly, was the download contacts, and you can import them into Sugar. And this is more so meant to be a one-time import because, like I said earlier, we were dealing with some people who had thousands of contacts in Constant Contact, and then they just purchased Sugar, and they had no real easy way of getting all of those Constant Contact contacts into Sugar. So we created this, and we have a new feature which will be coming out in a couple weeks, which will allow you to assign a lead source to these, from the import, so that when you go to Sugar, you can see, how many were from Constant Contact, if that is a lead source for you guys. There's two different ways that you can add to lists within Sugar. You can either do it from the target list, or you can do it from the contact or lead. So if you wanted to go directly to the target list and you wanted to select a bunch of contacts, let's go ahead and select from a report. Let's go ahead and call this by last day contacted. And so then you see that here we go, there's 243 contacts on this list. And so whenever you do a mass update like this inside of Sugar, it runs based on the scheduler. So I think the scheduler by default is set for every 2 hours for a mass export to Constant Contact. So 2 hours from now, you will see that all 243 contacts were added to the Constant Contact winter promotion list. I'm going to go ahead and go to a contact and show you how the results look from a contact. You can view the results from a contact. You can view the results two ways. You can view it under the contact view or lead view, or you can review it under the campaigns module, which shows you all the high-level results of all the click-throughs, all the views, and everything. So, one good thing to think about in terms of this integration, me being a salesperson, I constantly am going to individual lead records or individual contact records, and I like to see, if they've been active in our Constant Contact or not. So with this Wes, I know he's kind of a fan of our Google Plus page. So then I have kind of a warm introduction. I can talk about, whatever's on our Google Plus page and help the cold call kind of become a little bit warmer. So these are the campaign results. We sent 2 campaigns in the last 2 months. And for every activity, there is a represented field value. So, you'll be able to say, okay, it was sent to him, he clicked through, he clicked on this link, and then he viewed the message. And in February, he did the same thing. He just clicked on a different link and he viewed it. So if we want to go ahead and add Wes to an additional list or remove him from lists, we just go ahead and click the edit on the contact or lead. Now keep in mind this sync to Constant Contact checkbox is a custom field that is part of the integration, and I'll show you in a second that if they opt out, those transfer back and it opts them out, so you can no longer add them to a list. Let's go ahead and click edit. If you want to add them to a list, you can either just deselect and reselect, or you can highlight and then click save. And there he is. So let's see. We have 0 on the test list. Let's go ahead and add him to the test list and then show how that syncs in real time. If you sync an individual contact, that'll automatically send over. But if you do mass updates, that runs based on batch upload, a batch on the scheduler. So we'll add him to that test list. And there he is there. And let's go refresh the Constant Contact page. And then you can see the contact has been added to the test list. So whenever you add a contact, an individual contact, it automatically syncs over to Constant Contact. Some people were using Sugar before they used Constant Contact, and were doing email campaigns through Sugar initially, and they want those Sugar opt-outs to transfer back to Constant Contact opt-outs, and that will be included in our next release. So if you have Sugar opt-outs and you've been using Sugar longer than Constant Contact, you can transfer those opt-outs to Constant Contact, so they are no longer emailed. So this is what the contact looks like if they've opted out. So you can see here through the details that he did opt out in the February message. So this would be important for for follow-ups as well, because me not having access to our Constant Contact account, this is pretty critical, because if I'm going through a follow-up and I know he's opted out, I have to approach it a little bit differently than someone who was clicking on a bunch of links and who's interested in our information. Whereas with Andrew, I have to be a little bit more, not hesitant, but I have to be more wary of exactly how to approach the situation. So if you go ahead and you want to add him to a list, if you try to do anything, you just simply can't. There's no there's no process to create any action. So that's what it looks like when a contact opts out. Let me go ahead and show you how the campaign results look from the campaign module. So if we want to click on one of our promotions, this is the integration was built to work in the standard Sugar Campaigns module. So if you've used campaigns through Sugar, it'll look pretty similar to those that you've sent out through Sugar. One of the benefits of doing your email campaigns through Constant Contact as opposed to doing them through Sugar is you don't have to worry about sending out too many emails and being blocked off as spam. A lot of our clients that ended up purchasing the integration actually did so because they just simply couldn't get the amount of emails through the standard Sugar campaigns because of their email provider was blocking them as spam. So if you do it through Constant Contact, you don't really have to worry about any of that. Constant Contact has all the opt-outs and unsubscribes, so you don't have to worry about sending too many emails. You get unlimited emails through Constant Contact. So this is the February promotion. It was sent to 32 people, and you see the target list that it was sent to, the general interest list. If there are multiple target lists sent to, you'd see both listed right here. Below you see the tracker URLs, and again, this is similar to how the Sugar campaigns look. And if you want to see more detailed results, you just click on the viewed status. And so here we see that it was sent to 32 people. We had 2 bounced messages, 2 bounced others, and 9 bounced that were invalid. This is important because it'll let you know that the 9 that were invalid are no good and you have to find new emails, whereas the 2 bounces are were called soft bounces, which would be either like a vacation reply, out of office reply, or something like that. And this was one of our newer features as well, and we're differentiating between the hard and soft bounces. You get to see 8 click-throughs and 14 viewed the message, as well as 1 opted out, which I just showed you how that record looks from a contact view. But if you scroll down, you get to see exactly who the message was sent to. You get to see exactly who viewed the message, and you get to see exactly who clicked on what and what they clicked on. And if there were any leads created, you would get to see that as well. And here are the bounces, invalid emails, which then you can create a report, or you can search based on name, and you know that you have to find valid emails. And then there are the 2 that bounce for a varied number of reasons. And then there's the opt-out. So that's basically how the campaign results look inside of Sugar. And so it's really beneficial because you can report on these campaign results just as you would on your regular Sugar campaign results. So all of the Constant Contact information that transfers over is all reportable through standard Sugar reporting, with the professional version. And so one of the last things I want to show you just briefly, there are schedulers. Like I said, there are manual processes here, but you only need to do them as need be if you need certain information right away. What I would recommend is just tweaking around the scheduler to fit that to adjust within your business processes. So if you wanted to do something, if you wanted to change a scheduler, all you have to do is click on one of the schedulers on Edit. And so I think right now we had it once a day. If you want to do it as often as possible, you could just every 1 minute. And so it'll go as often as possible, and so the campaign results, you'll never really have to click on that button. And so, majority of the integration is built so that all of it is synchronized in the background. You don't have to do any manual processes. You just build your campaigns, and when they're done, the results seamlessly flow over into your Sugar. And if you've created campaigns, if you created reports for those campaigns, all that stuff is highly visible within Sugar. And with that pretty much sums up the demonstration.